what happened in the US Grand Prix weekend. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the podcast. This is, of course, XRS Plus, the official podcast for XRS. I don't know, I haven't got the saying right. I haven't got like a saying for it yet, so let me know what I should do. I don't know, I kind of just make it up as I go along. Welcome back. We are back. Hello, everybody. I know I'm a little bit late. I know I'm late. I know you're watching this on a Thursday or a Friday. I'm late. I know. Apologies. Busy week. Very busy week for myself. But in an hour, I've got the Div 4 race in Singapore. So very exciting for me. I'm going to be doing stuff all evening. But yes, we are back here. Round 13 in Kota. We've only got 3 races left. Of course, this is the 4th, the last. And what a weekend. What a brilliant track for racing. That's for sure. We saw a lot of great battling. Of course, we got no titles wrapped up just yet, but they're all getting very close. And I think we're going to see the first one in Singapore, hopefully, getting wrapped up, which will be very, very exciting. We're going to begin with Division 4, and I know what you're thinking. It's probably the title of the video, if I'm honest. You guys all want to hear about Cotagate. We're going to get to Cotagate very shortly. We're going to start with Division 4. We're going to get to Cotagate. Division 4, and my driver winner for Division 4 is going to be Cotagate. Another incredibly well-managed drive from Cotagate. Got caught in an incident with Dan at the start of the sprint, going through the S's. Very, very unfortunate he got caught by that. I think it was neither driver's fault. I think it's difficult to go through that section anyway. But he did recover very, very well. With an incredibly late pit stop onto the softs, actually. Really risking it. But what he did just magnified how incredible the tyre difference is on new tyres in Kota. And managed to get back up to a podium. Unbelievable drive from him. Definitely 100% a name to be considered for the title next season. He's really finding his pace. And I don't think we've seen enough for him to be moved up. So it's currently Thursday. Yesterday we had the admin call. We have decided who's going to be moving up and down, or at least offered the seat to be moved up and down. As well as we've already discussed the calendar. Ladies and gentlemen, the Season 2 calendar has been made. That I will be revealing on a podcast. It won't be this one. I also won't be revealing who's getting moved up, but I will talk about it. I won't specifically say like everyone, because that'll be an announcement. So keep in tune with the announcements channel. It'll be coming out after this weekend. But yes, Cotagate is not going to be moving up at the end of the season, so he's definitely in a position to be fighting for the title next season. Now 6th in the championship, jumping. I believe he's jumped Dan and Pistol this weekend. Yeah, very consistent, incredibly consistent. Oh no, sorry, it was Peter and K1, yeah, wasn't it? So yeah, very, very well driven. My driver loses 100% Vlad, and I'm kicking myself for this one because I could have prevented it. He was straight lined by a griefer in the lobby. There wasn't anything we could do to retribute his race because he was in a position where we can't really give him points. Maybe if he was in a points paying position, we could have given him 50%, or at least had a discussion about it. He wasn't in that position to do that. But yeah, I really feel for him. The guy has been banned, and in fairness, I chatted to the guy before after Belgium. After he didn't straight on anyone, but his actions were incredibly, like, he didn't care about the racing, and I hate the people that are like that. They just don't care about the race and ruining it for others. You know what I mean? If you don't care about a league race, that's fine, but don't ruin it for others. And he did that, and he's been swiftly banned. But yeah, I have to feel for Vlad. What a horrible way to end the race. But to end what was the start of his race, hopefully. So yeah, not much more to say about that. My team winner, 100%, McLaren. Unbelievable team up by those two. It's really, really exciting to see Liam back on form again. We have missed him from the front for quite a while, and I'm excited to see what he can bring up in Singapore. The title fight in Division 4 is ridiculous. There is currently, as of recording this before Singapore, and obviously we're in a great position. Let's not complain, by the way. I am late to the podcast, but at least I have all the results done, so I can actually give you facts, what I can't always do. The gap between 1st and 4th in the Div 4 Championship is 4 points. It is so much all to play for. I have no idea who's going to win this, between, of course, Charlie, Melvin, and then 2 McLaren boys, Blake and Liam. Liam's in 3rd. It is completely possible for any of these drivers to take the lead. I think these last 3 races, we've got Singapore, Jeddah, and then Abu Dhabi, all night tracks. They are going to be so vital in these 4 drivers' championships, because genuinely any of them could win it. But yeah, incredible teamwork by the McLarens. Blake backing Charlie up to allow Liam to get through. And Liam ended up winning the race. I think he got a penalty for an off-track. He gained time off track and managed to sweep a move on Charlie, or at least a dive on Charlie anyway. Yeah, which still put him second, so still good points. Blake's in first, and he also, I believe, on the sprint too, so incredibly strong performance by both of them. They got a 1-2 in the sprint and the race. That's a huge bag of points. Looking on an overall point of view, they've now re-overtaken Alfa Romeo in the OCC. I'll talk about the OCC at the end of the podcast, but unbelievable job by McLaren, who scored a bag load of points in this weekend, and they are. It's going to be an interesting fight all the way to the end to see if McLaren can hold on and clinch the P2, which will be very important for next season. My team loser. I'm just going to get the results up now just so I can get the facts for you. My team loser is AlphaTauri. Gamer Slimy continues to have very mediocre performances. Obviously, AlphaTauri need to be scoring points. They have Haas breathing down their neck at this point for P4 in the OCC. Slimy qualified 15th. Of course, Ristomo couldn't do the race, so they brought in Toxic, who qualified 17th. Sprint, they scored nothing. And in the race, Slimy finished 14th, that's 2 points. And Toxic DNF. So they ended up scoring two points out of that race, while their main rivals in Haas and Alfa Romeo. I mean, Haas had an incredible qualifying, starting second and third with Jamie's first front row start, which is unbelievable. Unfortunately, got caught in something in the sprint, but Kalex scored points in the sprint, and in the race they finished 3 and 7. So it's not. It's a worrying one because AlphaTauri are pretty strong overall, except for Div 4, and it's weird that their weak spot they haven't patched up. Like they brought in Reese, they've obviously brought in Boom Boy and Rosman. Why have they not patched up the massive gaping hole in their team? I don't know, but it might cost them something. Maybe they're hoping to cling on until next season. I mean, looking at the OCC right now, the gap between them and Haas is 143 points. Alexa, what's 143 divided by 3?
Good evening, Avinash.
Thank you.
143 divided by 3 is approximately 47.6667.
Lovely. So there we go. So Alexa has helped us there. That Haas got a score 40. Oh, just a lot of noise. 47 points on average in every weekend more than AlphaTauri. That is probable, but it'll be difficult for them. It's a bit risky not patching that Div 4 problem. I mean, it's not even like it's off possibility they could catch Alfa Romeo already. Have had an absolute honker this weekend, only 64 points ahead. So AlphaTauri could catch them, but I don't know where they're seeing their sights in the grand scheme of things. But that's my thoughts. Righty, Division 3, the race on Friday, and I would question who you're talking about if you're going to say that driver loser is not me. I am going to be giving myself driver loser. If you saw the race on Friday, I hope you feel bad for me. I was surprised how many people watched that race, because I think for the entire weekend at least, all the VCs I was in, all the parties I was in, with people I haven't talked to in quite a while, even people outside the league were like, oh yeah, I saw that race. Oh yeah, I was watching the stream for that part of the race. I'm like, what? First of all, where have you come from? Since when did you watch XRS streams? And second of all, why did you happen to watch then? Couldn't you have watched when I was zooming past people in the sprint or dominating in the race? Like, come on, give me a break. But yeah, if you don't know what happened, I don't actually. I can't lie. If you don't know what happened, you're on the same part of me. I don't know what happened either. My controller locked, and it was still on. Like, I tried to click the home button, wouldn't work. I was going down the straight, and the big straight, and I was at this point in 6th gear, and it wouldn't shift. I was like, oh poo, what's happened here? And obviously, as you know, the straight is on a kind of a slight turn to the right. Time to turn, didn't turn. So I thought, right, hit the home button, didn't do anything. And by the time I'd thought of an idea to do, which was take the batteries out, I was already halfway down the straight, like near the end of the straight at the braking point, and it put me into the gravel. Didn't put me in the wall because the AI slowed it down, but while I was re-getting the controller into with the batteries in and everything out, making sure everything was alright, the AI reversed back even the smallest bit to get on track, and it DSQ'd me for reversing or going the wrong way, or reversing on track, or I think it was going the wrong way, which obviously I wasn't doing. I was in the gravel. I don't know where the game got that from, but yes, 50%, stiff from the game and stiff from my equipment. Definitely not stiff by myself. That was one of my best drives of the season. I qualified 4th after making a mistake on my quali lap. Won the sprint pretty comfortably. I think it was a really, really well managed race by me again. Sprints I seem to really do well at, because it's a shorter race, so it's easy to manage battery, less chance of a safety car, so people won't get the advantage, same as me. And I run very high wings in this track. I won't expose what wings, but I was running very, very high wings for this track because my main focus was right. I'll be slow at the start, fine, but I just need to make sure I have that advantage at the end of stints. I have the tyre advantage, less degradation. That really worked. It was the last few laps that I got the position. So, and even in the race, in the race, I was P1 at the time. I was P1 at the time by like 3-4 seconds, which is why it really sucked. And I only later found out that I would have won the title had I finished the race in that position. But it's okay. We will wait another week. We'll do it. We'll do it tomorrow. We'll do it tomorrow. And if you're listening to this after I've done the Singapore race and I don't win it, you've jinxed me. Keep your mouth shut. I need 5 points. So I need to finish 11th or better. And Singapore is very much a weak track for me, but I think 11th is definitely within the realms of possibility. But yes, driver loser for me. Just bun that. Driver loser for me, 100%. Driver winner for me is going to be Obo Racing, or of course, as you know, Alfie. Where did he come from? No idea. He's raced, I believe, in Belgium, and he was battling with me up at the front, which showed potential from his side. In Kota, qualified 3rd, right in front of me. Really strong. Fantastic. In the sprint, finished 3rd behind me and Katie. Again, very strong. In the race, finished 2nd after driver's head got penalties. Surprisingly well managed, and I don't want to jump to stereotypes, but naturally, drivers reserves that you never heard of before burn all their battery, are useless at the back, and they're just mid. Alfie's come through very, very strong, and I'd be amazed if he doesn't get a seat next season, because he had a very, very consistent drive, and he was very well managed. And racing him for the short parts I did, he was very, very clean. He was really quick in the sprint, and I see him under the right team as a potential title challenger. I truly do, and it was really exciting to see him, a new name, getting chucked in that front fight. So yes, 100%. Unfortunately for Aston Martin, they won't score the points because they've used all their reserves. But for him and his, I doubt he cares about his because he's only reserve. But for his notability in the league and his reputation, there should be team principals looking in his direction, thinking, right, this guy needs to be signed, because goodness me, he did well. That's his 2nd race in the season, and I think he made a mistake in Spa and spun to the back. Yeah, he finished 13th in Spa, but he qualified 5th, and I know he was up there because he was battling with me. So yeah, for sure, a driver to look out for. Team winner, I'm going to give it to McLaren, but it's a little tainted because Tom got a 10-second, but I'm still going to give it to McLaren. What a brilliant weekend they had, at least for the first half. What an absolutely fantastic weekend they had. KD again, I don't want to taint it by saying that I got robbed, but KD once again, very good victory. Oh, sorry, first victory I should say, and again another very good podium. And then Aussie One Joe's first time Tom has done something useful. No disrespect to him, but the first time Tom has genuinely been a threat for the front, which I'm so happy to see. He's my boy. As much as the drama between KRL and XRS began, Tom is my boy. Qualified 10th, got up to 4th in the sprint. Unbelievable improvement. And then battled for me with the win. I'll be honest, I think it should have been me or him winning. I think it should have been me and him 1-2. If the race hadn't... If you know what happened in the race as well, actually, I'll update you. Because Fetch left and he was the host, it desynced the lobby. And it desynced when a safety car came out. So 3 people didn't pit. And it was 5 Wise, Kraz, and Quick to finish. So they started 1, 2, 3. I started 4th. And so they were completely gifted those positions. And I think Tom started 5th. But I have a feeling he double stacked with KD and started further back, which really ruined the positions. Because on tyres, me and Tom were in a brilliant position. I cut through. I think Tom struggled to cut through, but he did manage it. At least I didn't see him for a little while. And that's what obviously when I broke away, and then the incident happened, and he continued on. I don't know. I guess not. Yeah, I think if the race had continued, I do think it would have been me and Tom getting a 1-2. I think I would have won. I think we'd have come 2nd. I think Katie would have come 3rd because he did have some really good pace by the end. I'm imagining his wings were relatively high because otherwise his management was very good. He seems to do quite well under high tire temp situations, which I tried to avoid obviously with my kind of driving style. I think he would have got 3rd. I think maybe Obloff, but so it would have been interesting. For Tom to get 5th, it's upsetting in my part. He did very well, but I'm going to give McLaren team winner because they both had a very strong drive. Team loser for sure, Williams. They got 1 driver on track. They've used all their reserves anyway, so they can't score points. Fetch had a brilliant qualified 2nd on the front row, I believe for the first time this season. Spun in the sprint and quite late on as well because he was fighting with me and finished 15th, didn't score any points, and then DNF in the race. We're seeing this as a trend from Fetch now. and it's upsetting because he was, I don't want to call him mid, but he was kind of more midfield. And then recently in recent races, his qualifying has been brilliant. He's been right up at the front and then makes mistakes, which is arguably worse. Because he was really a problem for me in the sprint, getting past him, and he out-qualified me as well. So it's a little bit upsetting to see him finishing with such poor results, which don't reflect how strong his drive was. But racing is a game of inches, and you're 1 inch too far left or right, and something can go horribly wrong and ruin the entire result. So I feel for Fetch, but it has 100%, 0 points for Williams when they're supposed to be fighting much higher than they are. At least they were, and they've dropped off. So it is just kind of securing the envision that Williams are heading towards a backmarker team. Right, for the theme of Cotagate, we are going to be skipping Division 2, and I'm going to move on to Division 1 and come back to the final one for the finale. We're going to go on to Division 1, which was an interesting race. A lot of drivers that were just too dangerous, too deadly, and the back of the field looked pretty deadly, causing, I believe, the most DNFs of the season, which is worrying. It's upsetting, but a lot of those drivers have been banned because of their actions, season banned because of their actions, or are just reserves, so it's not necessary for them to return. So for those who were in seats, it was just an unfortunate one they got caught in it. My driver winner for today, and it's going to match with my team winner as well, Choke and Aston Martin. Unbelievable by these two. I'm going to talk about Choke first. Choke putting it front row, P2 in quali, unreal. Have not seen him this high, and he's pretty much gone from middle to front in the space of the time in XRS he's been, and it's very, very exciting to see, because him and Wizzy are probably Aston Martin's 2 figureheads for biggest income of points for next season, assuming they stay. But actually, I load up the Google Sheets and have a look. So yeah, both of their contracts end this season. Cajun needs to be really pushing for those two to re-sign, because they're probably Aston's best drivers. If you look in qualifying, they qualified 2nd and 6th. In the sprint, they finished 2nd and 6th as well, matching their positions previously. So let's not forget Choke staying in 2nd with the caliber of drivers in Division 1, and then in the race finishing 4 and 5, with Wizzy getting past his teammate. Unbelievable. Really well managed by these two. And the fact that it's in an Aston Martin as well, a team that so dearly needs these points just to stay afloat. I mean, Alpine are actually catching them. So they're on the highway to being 10th in the OCC. And this is a really a reassuring factor that they won't be, because they've got such 2 capable drivers in Division 1. So yes, Choke for my driver winner, Aston Martin for my team winner, 100%. My driver loser is going to be Neb, and it stings for this one. He obviously, I was on a Fanatec now, so his qualifyings have been much better. We've seen that previously. Qualified 5th this race. He was up on pole in Silverstone. He's been on front rows in, I think, Canada. So he's been in a really good form. P5 in quali, absolutely excellent. Got torpedoed by Conor Barry in the sprint, which was criminal. And then Conor Barry turned around and said it was his fault. He's now been banned, not for that obviously, but for just his actions and his attitude. I don't want him in. So we all agree we don't want him there. But yeah, torpedoed Neb in the sprint, and then Neb I think got taken out by FIFAs, but I don't know in the race. So it's just upsetting that that's a thing. You know what I mean? It's upsetting that that's the situation. Then Neb was in a spot to push for the podium once again, and it was completely whipped under his feet, which it shows the management we're now going to take on, in terms of, especially with, obviously, for the final 3 races of the season, if you don't already know, which you should know, is that the Div X has opened up, and the drivers, or most of the drivers from that pace car are coming down. So drivers up to the speed of Tano, Tonio, Teshubi, Jay Snowy, these kind of drivers that are incredibly quick drivers, are coming into Div 1 now to battle Reese, Raven, Ziagli, and all of these incredible drivers, Big Pow. We're going to have an incredibly stacked Div 1 next season. We're going to get a little hint of it for these final 3 rounds. I'm incredibly excited about about Singapore on Sunday, and the race is going to hold for us. But yes, I'm going to say Neb, driver loser for sure. My team loser is going to go to Williams. Jan, his first race in the seat, and it was actually a very strong drive from him. Qualified 7th, got up to 4th in the sprint, and then got taken out. Snipes, first race in the league, he was reserving. Qualified 18th, so quite weak. Was AI for most of the race because he couldn't get back in. So he did finish 15th. Was able to race in the actual race, also got taken out. I don't think he got taken out. I think he might have given up actually. So that's my apology. I think Jan gave up as well because of damages. But very unfortunate for Williams. This is an unforced one, and a good performance from Jan. It's exciting to see what he can do in the long term here in the league. If you consider he's shown his pace, we definitely won't have a race that dirty again in Div 1 because we've sorted all the issues and we're back onto good racing form. But I really feel for these two drivers that it worked out so poorly for them. Right, ladies and gentlemen, the time you have been waiting for. It's time to talk about one of the biggest scandals we've had in XRS so far this season 1. It is Cotagate. Do you know what is Cotagate? It was the event that happened in Div 2 where a driver, who I will not be naming because he's been banned for his actions on track and his reputation on track as well. I don't want him in the league. He's unsafe to have in the league, and it's very similar to the guy I talk about who's straight line Vlad in Div 4. If he cares that little, no need to have him here. He was working for Boomboy and the failings instruction to hold up Dylan or Squig to enable Boomboy to get a better position. It was a very interesting situation. I'll explain the whole thing before we get onto the driver winner, driver loser, etc. So I didn't watch the race. I was nothing to do with this race, but I did. I was obviously I'm in the same team as Squig in Ferrari, so I got so I joined the party after the thing, and he was obviously frustrated alongside Dan and the drivers, saying that saying that this driver who'd been banned had ruined his race, blocking him, holding him up for Boomboy, and he'd had all these allegations. And I was like, well, I had to play. I couldn't play the friend card, which kind of hurt. I wanted to be sympathetic, but I had to play the genuine, unbiased point of view, saying, right, you can say all these things, but they're big allegations to be making. You need to show some evidence, and he found the evidence. He went on to Failing Stream, who lied and said he hadn't streamed. All three of them were in the VC during the race, not forgetting that this driver was reserving for Aston Martin. Failing is signed to Williams, and Boomboy is signed to AlphaTauri, and they were in a VT together. And after Failing said that he wasn't streaming, there were clips found of during the race, Boomboy asking this driver. I mean, in fairness to Boomboy, he only asked him to hold him up during the first sector to help him catch up, I imagine. I haven't seen all the evidence myself. But nevertheless, Boomboy can't be doing that. This driver was driving for Aston Martin, which is, of course, collusion at a very high level. This is unsportsmanlike. And it actually got taken out of hand because from the voice messages, Boomboy obviously appreciated that this driver had held him up, asking for gaps and what this and that. But the only point that was actually genuinely heard was asking for that first sector, can you hold him up, or something like that? Can you back him up a bit? Following that, he was pretty much alright. The only voice messages found was him appreciating what the Aston Martin had done. I think it's all. I mean, most of it. Oh, excuse me, sorry. About 50% of it was in the stewards report, I think. But it's just saying things like, don't make it obvious, and hold him up a little bit, that kind of stuff that was found. Most of the deed was done by the Aston Martin, hence his band, holding him up, pretending to have snaps just to back him up a little bit, just completely sacrificing his race, not caring about his race, just to ruin someone else's, which I don't accept in this league. Failing had also been heard giving instructions, offering up a safety car if he just put it in the wall. He didn't end up getting disqualified, so did Boomboy, so did the other driver. The other driver's been banned, and the penalty for them not only was a disqualification from the race after Boomboy could have won it, was quali bans until the end of the season, which is, of course, 3 rounds. I think that's a very, very fair penalty. I mean, it's so much a penalty, so severe as a penalty that maybe they'll not do it next time. It's got to be a deterrent. It's got to be a severe deterrent. Everyone found out about it, so it's perfect for a deterrent as an admin point of view. No one else is going to do it because it not only was it, but not necessarily hidden, but I mean, People went and found it. They went and found evidence and found it. But it's the fact that the penalty is actually quite severe that it should definitely put them off it. Boomboy qualified 4th, won the sprint, but he got, of course, DSQ'd. And then ended up getting DSQ'd from the race. Similar to, I'm not actually sure, where did Felling? Felling qualified 8th, so relatively solid. And then I don't know where I finished in the sprint. Have a look. 11th in the sprint, so I mean... good results from AlphaTauri completely taken, which leads me on to my driver losers, which is the driver in Aston Martin, Failing, and Boomboy. Breaking rules, breaking probably the biggest rules you could in any racing, which is being unsportsmanlike to this level and colluding on track with another driver. Maybe it'll make them think twice in the long term. I don't know. I hope so. I hope it certainly will. I mean, Boomboy, as I've said previously, is a title contender for the future. Failing has been putting in some really good performances, and I know he aspires to be a team principal. This is definitely going to hold him back quite severely due to this. But they're both nice guys, and they're for certain going to be still as popular as they are in the league. But this has been a bit of a low point for them. I will point out that those two were definitely less at fault than the Aston Martin. But who was swiftly been banned, don't want him back. I'm all good with that. But there were definite voice messages being heard by those two that accepts the punishment that they've been given. So for sure, those two are my driver losers. Driver winner on actually, you know what? Team loser, keeping it negative, AlphaTauri. Brought in Boomboy and Rosman to be this deadly duo to be an enormous points gain for them in the OCC. Boomboy's been getting incredibly unlucky, getting caught in incidents. Rosman has just been dangerous, I won't lie, and he was serving his race ban this week. It has not worked whatsoever. I can't quite fathom how it hasn't worked, how it's worked so poorly. But it has, and it has cost them a lot of money and potentially a lot of points as well. So I'm going to say team loser AlphaTauri. My driver winner is going to be Mal's, and my team. You know what it is? My driver winner could definitely be Asteroid as well. So I'm going to give driver winner to Mal's because he's doing really well. But it could definitely be Asteroid, which is why I'm going to give team winner to Haas. Unbelievable batch of points with the DSQs. Asteroid put it on pole, as we probably expected. Mal's 10th. Mal's in his second race in XRS after doing a very solid job in Canada, just struggling with the penalties, track limits. Finished 6th in the sprint. Asteroid won the sprint after Boomboy's DSQ. And in the race, it's a 1-2. Unbelievable. Huge batch of points for Haas. I'm sure they'll be very impressed. Driver winner could go either way. And team winner, I'm going to give it to Haas as well. Brilliant drive from them both. And they're very much well deserved. And that is it. Goodness me, that is everything. Cotagate is a very interesting name, which made me giggle, and it's just a little story which caused an eruption for a couple of days when drivers were finding this evidence and reporting it and getting these drivers DSQ'd. A big name, of course, in Boomboy as well, as an overview of the division. Looking in the OCC, actually, which I wanted to have a little chat about. Of course, we're going to have a podcast at the end of the season, reacting to our own predictions, me and Raven, and then, of course, for the new season as well. Ferrari look like they're going to wrap up the OCC fairly shortly. They're a good 300 points ahead. McLaren and Alfa Romeo are still in a very tight battle for P2. The gap's 54 points. AlphaTauri, in fairness, not too far behind. If they're able to take their finger out their bum, then they could definitely catch up to that. Only 64 points behind Alfa Romeo. Haas sniffing down the neck, like I said, as Alexa helped us to work out. If they're able to score, I think it was 47 points on average over these weekends, more than AlphaTauri, which is definitely possible. If they're on form, they can catch AlphaTauri and finish P4, which would be an unbelievable achievement. And Red Bull and Mercedes separated by 27. That's a very even match team. They just need to perform a little bit better, and they could secure that. Williams have been on the down, so there's a potential that Aston Martin, who was 65 behind, could catch. This battle for P6 is continuing to rage on, and Alpine are catching as well. They're lingering into shot. If they're able to not finish 10th, that'd be a huge improvement, a huge comeback from their earlier performances as Beat has taken the TP role. Anyway, thank you very much, everyone, for joining us for what a crazy weekend. I've got half an hour until Division 4, so I'm getting ready for that. I'll see you all soon.